lovelies. It's Tuesday. Who is here? Are you ready for Tuesday's tip? Let's get busy. That tastes really good. There's Shauna. Hello, Shauna. Hi, Maggie. There's Jenny. Hello, Tanya. And Teresa. Good afternoon, Catherine. It's Happy Tip Tuesday. Yes, it is. Hello, Rebecca. She's making Mighty Mitochondria Miracle Soup. It's the best stuff ever. Vanessa's here. So's Jennifer and Martha. Hello, Donna. Here they come. Doris is in the house. So's Judy. Hello. Lisa. Lucy. Yolanda. Carol Ann, hello. Cher's here. Your husband told you to sign up for Saturday? Fantastic. Susan got her beauty support, also fantastic. I love beauty support. Stuffsthebomb.com. Juanita, Joanne, Rebecca, hello, hello, hello. I'm so glad to see you. And Marguerite and Pam, hello. Ladies, you just storming the gates. Trinity and Piper are saying hi. Hello, Trinity and Piper. And there's my girl, Amy. Yay. Good to see everyone. I am delighted that you're all here. We're going to talk about fear today. Fear, 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 fear. Teresa, beauty support is in our shop, and it's one of my most favorite supplements ever because it basically supports everything that we're trying to do, getting in our collagen and all the rest of it. It's fantastic stuff. Who said I'm back? Yvonne, yay. And Heather, good. Come on in. The water's fine. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad, you guys share these videos, and I so appreciate that from my heart to yours. Thank you. One of my biggest goals, and one of the biggest things I've ever had, my big overriding mission on all of this is helping women, and especially women who feel unheard. Have you ever been that kind of a woman? I know I have. I've felt like that for so many years, just unheard, unseen, invisible. And we don't need to be like that anymore. And I want to take everyone into my collective arms and say it doesn't have to be that way. We have the ability to change the things that are in our control and make a difference. And make a difference for our lives and make a different trajectory into the life that we really and truly 100% want to lead. Not in fear, not holding back, not on the sidelines, but in it. We want that. That is when things get yummy, delicious, and gotta have it, right? Otherwise, it's just, God, we're going through the motions. And honestly, for anybody who has ever felt like that, and I know I felt like that for years. Held back, fearful, paralyzed, all of it. And that is not living. That's existing. That's just taking up space. And there's so much more for you. And I believe with all of my heart that God calls us to a whole different type of a life. And all I'm doing here is poking you with that. So I hope you, I really appreciate that, the fact that you show up every day. I'm here 7 days a week, and joyfully, I might add, because these are things that I'm learning myself too. These are things it's a continual learn pattern. Have you noticed that? When we continually learn, we continually have the opportunity to grow. If we can't grow, if we can't grow, then we're just stagnant. And that, no wonder we're upset. No wonder we don't feel good about ourselves, right? Catherine, so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you're marching forward and leading the light. You're supposed to lead, Catherine, because that is really entirely what it's all about. You know, we get to do that. It is a privilege. It is an opportunity, and it is right there in front of everyone. And I just want to open your eyes so that you can see that. Does that sound like a deal? There's my lovely Norma and Rosemary. Thanks, you guys, so much for showing up. We're in the middle of the College and Challenge. Today's Tuesday. Oh, Amy, you're so sweet. Thank you. I try to show up every day. I hope I'm doing a good job. But okay, so where are we anyway? You know, and you guys are signing up in droves for our first ever conference this Saturday with Marla and I. We've had about, I'm going to say 100 questions. Will it be recorded because I can't be there? Yes, it will be recorded. So even if you're there or not there, it does not matter because you will get that recording forever and ever. Amen. I want you to be there, of course, live because interacting live is so great. But the other thing is that you get to walk away and play it at any time. You can play the whole thing, you know, stem to stern if you want to, or just play one part or whatever it is that you need. But I'm telling you, this is going to be something we want to move you down the road. We want to help you get your life launched. That's exactly what it is. 10 pinkies up, says Rosemary. That's a good one, Rosemary. I love it. That we're just going to do this. So anyway, if you want to sign up, I'm encouraging it. Get yourself over to savingdinner.com/house. All the details are there. Plus our swag bag. We finally sat down and last night Marla and I were like, so that's worth this is worth that. Because we just threw a bunch of stuff. We said, this is all good stuff. Teresa, I'm not sure if you can watch it on an Android. I'm not sure. You can send an email into support@savingdinner.com and we will answer it. I'm pretty sure you can. I would probably encourage more watching it on a laptop if you can. The reason why is because of the screen size and everything will be easier to see things. Plus there'll be a chat. And I'm not sure how, everything's going to be teeny weeny. I'd rather see things big. These are reading glasses. I don't wear regular glasses, but I read these so I can read your comments. Otherwise, I honestly don't need them for that. So anyway, today is the very, very, very last day for Glycozyme. You guys have bought a ton of this. Let me just say that we've had a ton of it rolling out the door. I want you to get this. If you have any kind of blood sugar issues, pre-diabetic, insulin resistant, or just sugar issues that go all over the place, this is the supplement for you. If your digestion isn't on point, meaning you're not getting the nutrition you need, I want you to get this. It's a great deal. You can get 3 of these bottles. We'll throw a 4th one in free. And if you put ships free in the little promo code, we'll also ship it to you free. This is a fantastic deal, and we've also sent out, hundreds of these mindful mugs. You spend $200, we send the mug. Joanne was telling me she's got a cupboard of these mugs. So I think that's funny. We're all going to go to Joanne's house and have bone broth, have a mindful mug with Joanne. Anyway, get it now, and do yourself a favor, and just take advantage of it. We have something else for you tomorrow, so you'll want to be here for Wise Women's Wednesday. Also, our body clutter supplements, this is what they normally look like, but this is what you're going to get, the white bottles, which are okay. But I'm going to tell you something, who cares, right? Supply chain, they can't get the dark bottles right now, so we're going to go with the white bottles. The fact is, it's the same supplement, it's just in a white bottle. Don't let that throw you. They're still the core 4, and they are core for you, in a screaming deal. We got a massive deal on them. I highly, 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 highly suggest that you get those. Friday is Q&A. We will be doing Q&A just as normal. So send in your questions to support@savingdinner.com. And in that subject line, question for Leanne on Friday. If, this is the big thing, if you have a question about nutrition, if you have a question about supplements, if you have a question about cooking or just about anything else, within reason, of course, I'm not going to answer a bunch of personal stuff, go ahead and send it in, and we will take care of that on Friday. This Saturday, I'm going to be completely off the grid. I won't be here for my show. Marla will not be here for her 2 shows. we will be doing our conference. So it will be dark here on that day. So I think that's it. I think that's all we have. You know what else is happening too, you guys? Can you believe it? We're getting there, but pretty quick. We have a new sprint showing up. It's coming. It is coming. And we keep doing this, and it's for good reason. And last night I'm still writing, my part of the book. It's getting there. Marla's going to have it shortly. But anyway, I was writing in my book, the book about the whole thing about the sprint and what it does and all of that. And the more the more research I do on it and adding more research to it, the more I am just convinced this is the way to go. And it's free, so I never understand why people would not do this. It's on our site. Just get it. Here's a little something for you. The most creative act you will ever undertake is the act of creating yourself. This is Deepak Chopra. I chose this particular quote because I thought about the act of creating yourself. How powerful is that you get to do that? You get to create yourself. And on Saturday, what this is all about is the tools and the wherefore, withal, whatever you want to say, how to do it. We're going to take you there. We're going to take you there all the way. This is what we are all about. So excited about it. Marla and I are totally jumping out of our skins, and we're delighted that a lot of you are joining us, and we will take care of it. There will be a Q&A. Nobody will leave without a question answered. We're going to stay until the bitter end. So anyway, that's what we have going on here at Saving Dinner. And I'm glad you're joining me today. So I wanted to talk about fear because we talk about this, what holds us back. And the underlying thing of what normally holds us back is this fear. Oh, I won't have a job, or I'll end up homeless, living under a bridge, or I won't be able to fill in the blank. If I do this, then I can't do that. And a lot of times I believe that this fear factor comes from the way we were raised, what we were told is the way to go, and going for the safety net as opposed to going for the dreams that we have for our lives and the hopes and everything that we want to do. I remember years and years ago, this is way back in I'm going to say it was the 90s, it was the late 90s, and this pastor told me that he thought that this is when I was just starting on my freelance career and just starting with, I'd just gotten my very first book written. And he told me, I'd just gotten back to, I'd met Marla, written the story about her, and just gotten back from doing QVC, my first QVC appearance, and got asked to come back. And I told this pastor how excited I was, and this, that, and the other thing, and I have these ideas, and this is what I want to do. And I remember he said to me that it was ridiculous, and that what I needed to do was go for something that was a little bit more proven, and that his wife had become a H&R Block accountant, and then he thought this is something that I should be doing. That was his opinion of me, because his notion and how he viewed the world was from a fear factor of never being enough, not having enough, and that you need to go for safety and not for the thing that you wanted in your life. And I told him I'm standing there at the precipice of this breakthrough of, first of all, writing a book, which was always a dream of mine since I was in 8th grade, from being on television, QVC, and being invited back. My writing career was taking off, and I had, tons and tons of stuff, but it wasn't a sure thing. And he told me I needed to go for a sure thing. His fear was the underlying thing for his advice. So I always say to people that when they're in this place of fear, like, where did that come from? Who's giving you this advice? Is this something that's left over from your childhood? Because I know when it comes to fear, sometimes that fear is bigger than it actually is, the thing that you want to do. Now, when I say fear, I'm not talking about jumping out of perfectly good airplanes and parachuting to the ground. I'm not talking about bungee jumping or doing scary stuff like that. I think that in and of itself is a separate fear factor. And I'm not the girl to talk about for that, because I will stay far, far away from all of that stuff. That just, to me, is just, that's nonsense. But I understand about things, the fearful things of what can possibly hold you back. I have made a lot of calculated risks in my life with businesses. I had a business that crashed and burned, crashed and burned. And I had investor money and the whole bit that I had to pay off. And just now got past all of that. And it didn't work out. But you know what? I am still proud of myself for going forward and doing it anyway. I tried. I gave it everything that I had. Thank God I still had saving dinner. But this was another business that I was involved in. It didn't work. So what's the worst thing that could happen? You could have debt and have to pay it off. I did that. But I'm going to tell you right now that not risking and holding yourself back and not staring fear down and doing it anyway is the thing that will keep you paralyzed and small for the rest of your life. Because the fear very often is way bigger in our heads than it really is in truth. Let's talk about that. There's a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. What a great name, right? And this is a book by Susan Jeffers. She put the whole thing together. I believe she's also got a TED Talk, so you can look that up. But she had, I loved how she broached all of this entire subject, because so many of us live in fear. We live in scarcity. We live in just this whole idea that if we do something, then all of these horrible things are going to happen. If we stay in, just keep doing this job that we absolutely hate, we absolutely abhor, at least we've got that income coming in, and we don't even dare to look outside of those edges to see maybe there's something there that really turns us on, that shows us a mission, that shows us a purpose, and gives us meaning in our lives. What about that? What about that? So I think it's time that we started to define our fear. What are we afraid of? Are we afraid of success? We hear that all the time, fear of failure. Fear of success, fear of failure, fear of success. Which one is it? Sometimes we bounce back and forth from that, right? We also work from the place of not even understanding what that fear is. It's just kind of somehow in the back of our mind that, oh, we can't do that. No, that's for these other people, but it's not for us. And we have like this vague feeling of fear and can't quite put our fingers on it. So I want to talk about that. I've got 5 things for you that I think are going to be helpful, and it's from Susan Jeffers' work. So this is not mine, but I'm going to expand on it from my understanding, and hopefully this will help you out too. So the thing that you have to look at is that fear will never go away as you grow. There's always going to be something to replace it. Fear is doing something anyway. That's how you get over it. And that's where you see that it's a whole lot smaller than you thought it was. And we've talked about this before, like flipping on the switch. The darkness is fearful. But when we flip on the switch, we find out that there's no boogeyman there. That was from when we were a kid. That's a fear from our childhood. And sometimes we still have the perspective of our childhood and the fears and, the alligators living under your bed. That's what I had. And all of that, but it's not there. The fear is mostly living in our head, and it's the big bad boogeyman that just needs to be brought out, spoken about. The light switch needs to be flicked on, and we need to go forward anyway. Go ahead and get in the bed. The alligator's not going to bite your legs off, I promise you, because there isn't one under the bed, or 2 or 5. I used to think there were several. It's just not going to happen. Fear is something that if we allow to come in to our lives, and if we focus on that, it will only expand. Fear expands. Whatever it is that we focus on expands to fill the space. So if that is going to be our perspective, and that is going to be our focus, it's going to be super paralyzing. So let's think about that for a minute. What is it? What fear do you have that is your fear factor that is pulling you back? You are the one who has the answer to that. I don't. But I just invite you into that space to go there, because as you go there, you're slowly turning that light on. Turning that light on. Number 2 is you dump the fear by going forward anyway, because that fear has to part ways. It has to get out of the way because you are marching forward. It has to get out of the way. And that's when you get the perspective of what that fear truly is. It's not hard, it's not awful, you know? And Jane said she had gorillas in her room. I'm going to bet the gorillas are gone, Jane. The alligators are gone out of my room. But we have these fears, and these fears grow up with us. And we have to understand they're not living under our beds, they're not hiding in our closets, and they're not going to come out and get us. Our fears of success, or our fears of failure, our fear of taking a risk is really, really minute. We can always have backup plans. We can always have something. So for me, when I had that failed business, for me, it was like, okay, so what's the worst thing that can happen? The worst thing could happen is that it didn't work and that I would be faced with a lot of debt. It happened. That's exactly what happened. And guess what? 4 years later, I am about 6 months from paying the rest of it off. But you know what? I'm proud of myself for doing it anyway. I'm proud of myself. What I thought would work was in the beginning working, and then it didn't. And there's a long story that goes with it that I'm not going to get into. But I'm proud of myself for going forward anyway. Going forward anyway in the face of fears, even if things don't work out, means that you can take on anything. It means you're a whole lot more resilient than you give yourself credit for, and it means that you have an inner strength that you didn't even know about. It comes out. It has to. It meets you right there in the path as you're confronting your fear. And what does that do for you at the end? Huh? It tells you who you are. It tells you that you are the queen of your own life, and it tells you that your strength is becoming even bigger than you thought. That's what it tells you. You feel, number 3 is you feel better about yourself. You feel better because you think, I faced that. I did that. I did it anyway. I wasn't afraid. I signed up. I walked out anyway. I spent the money. I did it. I invested in myself. I took it on. I did it. That I did it thing is huge. Do you know what that is? That's an underscore of your self-esteem. You need that. We all need that on a regular basis. We need to feel confident about what we're doing, because that confidence builds on top of each other and it gets us to that next level. There's always a next level. And if you're growing, that shouldn't intimidate you. It's just like going up stairs, you know? Lucy said, I used to be afraid that if I lost weight, then everyone would know I was fat. Oh, Lucy. You know, so what? We all start somewhere, and we have to start with what we have. We got to start with whatever it is that we have to overcome. And we have to look and see and analyze, what's the fear? What is it that is holding me back? Because, and the reason that I say it oftentimes it's fear, because I've spoken to so many women who've been absolutely paralyzed by fear. And I'm here to tell you that that fear is a lot smaller than you think it is, and that going forward and planning and having people pray for you and have your back and encourage you to go forward is the way that we get through that one thing. And if we can get through one, we can get through 10. That's how we're made. Women are extraordinarily resilient. Have you noticed that? We're the ones who were chosen to have the babies, not the men. We're the ones who are the prayers. You know, I told you a long time ago that I felt like George Floyd's calling out to his mother was a call out to every woman in the world. And I believe the hand that rocks the cradle, it does rock the world. We are going forward. We're the ones who have the ability to do this. It starts very individually, though, with facing your own fears. And I want you to know something, too. This is where the community comes in. You're not alone. Do you know that I still have fears? Do you know that everybody here that's on this broadcast right now, they all have fears? We all have fears. So facing them and going forward anyway is a community effort. It's what empowers us. It's what gives us momentum. It's what course corrects us and gives us the ability to go forward. How many of you have been faced with a fear of having to do something with a child who's had precarious health, or a spouse, or you, but you had to go forward anyway? It was fearful. It was awful. It was scary. I remember when my son was about 7 years old, and he had a torsion, which is a testicle that twisted. And I remember he kept saying, "It hurts, Mommy, it hurts." And I looked, and his testicles had turned purple. And I was like, oh my God. And I called the doctor, and the doctor says, "Now get on the road and meet me in Charlotte." We were living outside of Charlotte, about an hour and a half. We got met the doctor in the emergency room, and they took him right to surgery. I did not have time to prepare my son. I did not have time to prepare myself. And I had to, oh gosh, I wish I could remember the scripture that I gave him. Perfect love casts out fear. And he had to go into surgery by himself, and he was like, no, Mom, no, you holding on to him. And I kept saying to him, I said, "Son, I cannot go with you." I said, "But Jesus is there. He's with you right now." And I said, "Repeat this. Perfect love casts out fear." Who's perfect? He said, "Jesus." And I said, "Right. Perfect love casts out fear." So as they're wheeling him away, I might cry. As they're wheeling him away, I see his little lips moving. He's looking at me. He's crying, and his little lip is going, and he's saying, "Perfect love casts out fear." And I am here to tell you that perfect love casts out fear. It does, every single time. Just remember this, that this is something this is something you can go through, because perfect love casts out fear, because he's gone ahead for you, because you've got it in you, because you were created that way. You're created that way. So the minute that you start to think that you can't do it, I want you to think about my little 7-year-old son who was facing this surgery, and it saved his life, by the way. You can die of a torsion. You can die of a torsion, and you can lose your fertility, and he was 7. And we had to face that in a very quick hurry. We had to face that. But we do it, don't we? As mothers, as women, we get up, we stand up to that kind of fear when it has anything to do with our family, and we're on it. We're in front of it. We can face the fear. We can face the fear at any time, and we can come away victorious. And I want that for you. I want that for you, Heather. I'm not crying at all. I know it's making me cry too. That's a story, that I'll never forget as long as I live. Things that shake you to your core. Those kind of fears. And having the doctor come out and say, "He's fine. He's good. Everything went well." That's the thing. That's the thing where you just rejoice. It's less on you to do this, to face this fear, than it is to ignore it. When you ignore the fear, you know what happens? It's sucking up all your energy. It's in the background. It's like having background noise of music that you hate. We don't have to go there. We just have to understand, what is it? Okay, there it is. I'm going forward. I'm going forward. If a 7-year-old little boy can do it, so can I. Because perfect love casts out fear. Every time. You can do anything. You've got the strength. You've got the power. It is inside of you, including pushing through the fear. Including. I want you to remember that. And I want to see you here. Not here, but I want to see you on Saturday in the conference. Because this is what this is all about, is getting past the fear, getting into the life that you want to lead, creating vibrancy. Vibrancy. Feeling it. Heart, mind, and soul. Because this is what it's all about. This is it. Our lives on point. No more shrinking back. No more being paralyzed. No more fear. Fear is not for you, It's for you to pass through. Do you remember in the Bible, that was the whole thing. Moses had to get to the other side, you know? It wasn't that God built a bridge. He opened and parted the waters for him. These are the kind of miracles you should be expecting in your life. I do. I'm expecting it. And I hope to heavens that you are getting there. How can you create vibrancy at 84? Rosemary, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I believe you could be the most vibrant 84-year-old on the planet. It's up to you. It's all inside. And we all can be. Vibrancy is created. It doesn't just come. It's created. We're going to give you the skills, the plans, and the ability to do this. House, heart, home, mind, it's all yours. So I hope to see you at savingdinner.com/house. Be there. Saturday is going to be amazing. And thanks so much for showing up, and thanks for sharing this video. You guys are the best, and you're my community, and I love you. Peace be with you.